launch your website, you want to make sure that you do a review, audit, whatever you want to call it, before you launch. I say every quarter, take a look at your website. I'm going to tell you what to look as we go along, but you want to look through it at least once a year. You want to make sure you do a full website audit. Okay? How many of you have a website?
Let's touch.
How many of you blog? Okay. Did you know that 96% of consumers visit the website, the web, before they buy? So 96 go online and they do a search for whatever it is they're looking for before they buy. Do you have a website objective? Okay. How do you know if your website is working if you don't know what you want it to do? Your website is like any other marketing tool, and you want to be able to see a return. How many of you maintain or update your website? Is your website still there? I'm asking this because last month I visited a potential client, and he said, check out my website. We go to look at the website to find out he hasn't registered his domain for 2 years. He has his website listed on his business cards. So you have to make sure you know what's going on with your website. Are you satisfied with your website?
No.
No. Think about it and what changes you want to make and why. Okay. Are you committing what DOA? So what DOA is a hashtag that I use on Twitter to point out mistakes that people make with their websites. That's a website on Twitter. Basically, it means you're killing your website before it even has a chance. There are some website no-nos that I'm going to go through. First one is Flash. How many of you have Flash on your website?
Can you explain what's Flash? Yeah.
Okay, what's Flash?
Yeah.
Okay, so you go on a website and all of a sudden there's moving pictures, usually some zooming in going on, that type of thing.
It looks cool.
It looks cool, but I'll tell you why it sucks. First of all, when you're on your iPad, iPod, any Apple product that's not a computer, they don't support Flash. So no one's gonna, if your whole website isn't Flash, no one's gonna be able to see it. Yep.
Yeah, sorry. When you say flash, because when you define flash as moving objects, there is some things that, I don't know if it's HTML5, so it's still moving, but it's not necessarily flash.
The
That still
difference-
show on iPads and iPhones, so what's the difference?
So Flash will not show on your iPhone or anything. And what you notice with Flash, what I find is that it takes longer to load. So what you're talking about is usually anything done with Flash can usually be done with JavaScript. Okay? So if someone's telling you you have to do Flash, no. And you'll notice like Flash, you'll get to the website and it's saying, hold on, please wait, usually spinning
Loading.
circle, something. So that's how you usually tell it's Flash. Or it might not even work because I'll tell you why. The user has control of Flash. So I don't know if you've been on your website or your computer and it says, please update your Flash. So if I'm a person that doesn't update, I'm not going to be able to play. If I'm a person that updates regular, say your Flash is 5 years old, I won't be able to play either. So you'll know, like you'll see what websites are, like you could usually tell. So that's why Flash is a big no-no, and I don't like it also because it takes too long to load. Okay, I'm not going to sit there and wait for a video that I didn't even ask to see because I'm on your website looking for information to load.
And you potentially lose your customers because I've had that happen. I have the iPhone, and somebody might send me something, and then they'll say, like, this is Sonia's link to her business. And the iPhone, you could just click on the link and it will go. And it's just spinning and spinning. And
Yep.
I had all intentions to look at Sonia's site, but because it was spinning and I had to wait so long and my phone never converted to Flash or whatever, I just don't go back, or I might forget to go back on my actual laptop. So in my eyes, as a consumer or as a business person, I'm thinking I just lost a potential customer.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Can you have a video on your website without using Flash?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Is your website too slow? So Basically, research shows you have about 3 seconds. 3 seconds to grab someone's attention, 3 seconds before they leave your site. So if you're having flash, if you're having your website's too slow, they're gone in 3 seconds. Maybe less depending on your audience as well. Clashing colors.
What is clashing colors?
So yellow on black, that's hard to read. Red with green, that type of stuff. Like where it's just hard to read or it's glaring at you, like it's screaming at you. Like you don't want your website to be screaming at someone because I'm gone. I'm gone. Okay? Clashing colors. So you want to contrast colors, not have it, like I said, glaring at you. Audio, and video. So I don't know about you guys, but I've been in a cubicle, click on a site, a business site, and all of a sudden it's like loud and it's playing and or some guy's talking about what I need to do, and it's like, no. If you don't like it, people aren't going to like it, right? Unreadable fonts. Usually, sometimes you pick the wrong font, or your font may be too small, so you want to make sure that it's readable. No contact info. Yeah, people still refuse to put contact info on their site. Why is your site there then, if people can't contact you?
What's the difference? You get where people don't want to put their email address because of the spam thing where they go to, and you have the contact forms. So what's the email versus the contact form? So the contact forms, the back end of it is still an email address sometimes.
Right.
So can you still get the spam thing that sweeps through to pick up on the contact form
Yeah.
it's at the back end?
Yes, there's spam bots that go through and they'll look and see what emails attached. Any email, they'll search your whole site for email addresses. So you have to be really careful. One of the things that I do is I protect the email addresses that I put on. So when they go on, it's either coded or it's an image or something that they can't just go on the back end and read. Okay, but even if you don't do, for example, like say you don't want to put your email, have a contact form. Have some way that they can contact you. A phone number is nice too. That helps. Some people, like, I know me, I work out of my home. I don't really want to have my home address on because I don't want someone showing up my door. But I make sure I have all the other things listed that people can contact me on. And really long pages. So unless you're in an industry that supports really long pages, that I go to your website and I'm expecting to read a booklet, then you don't need to have long pages and spelling and grammar mistakes. So make sure you check for those. And that's like, I'm paranoid about that. I'm always checking to make sure that my content is clear. Okay? What is your website objective? I asked you about that earlier. So you have branding, launch a new product, expose an existing product, provide information. These are what are called nice objectives. They're secondary. You want your website to attract visitors and to draw in repeat visitors. Okay? You want to be able to capture leads, so that means having a form, either your contact page or another form, so people can give you their information. And you want to have sales. So it's either you're selling directly on your website or you're selling indirectly by getting the leads. Okay? Nice objectives, they're good objectives to have, but that shouldn't be your main focus. They do help with planning your website, designing your website, but it shouldn't be your main focus. Okay? Website must-haves. Okay, so you have your home page, your about us page, your contact us page, service and product page, and a blog. Okay? These are pages. Even if you're blogging, I think you should have these main pages. Maybe not the service and product if you're not doing that, but you should have an about us page and a contact page. The about us page is the second most visited page on your website, besides the front page. Okay? Blogging. Up until last year, I was telling my clients, only blog if you have time to blog. Blogging at least once a week is best. More, better, but at least once a week. Now, this year, I'm saying start a blog. Because search engines, they like to see content. They want to see updated content, new content, just content. And the more content you have, the better. Okay? So this is, I took this from Google, and this is Google authorship. So I don't know if you guys see this, and does anyone know what this is? Okay. Does anyone have a Google Plus account? Okay. So basically, Google is slowly unveiling their master plan, and that is Google authorship, which is the image that you see there. So basically what it is before they said content was king, the more content you had, whatever. Now Google is taking who is writing that content. So you as a writer, blogger, whatever, the more content you have under your name, the higher you're gonna rise on Google. This is slowly coming, okay?
Does it matter? Do you have to put it in Google Plus to make it common there? Because there was
Yes.
something. Okay, so
You have to have a Google Plus profile. You have to get a picture, and you have to claim your Google authorship. So there's steps that you do to get this, but you have to have a profile to do it. Okay. So blogging is becoming more and more important as we go along.
Can I say something to support this?
Okay.
This is a shocking thing, actually. I'll tell you, because it's a really shocking thing. I started blogging in November, and my blogs are not, professional. Little blogs with little text, little video, and my program is Mom's Financial Fitness. So from November till February, in February, I was looking for some way of exposure, but I never was finding any media. All of a sudden, I received an email from Reuters. They told me from my blog that I specialize in literacy to women, financial literacy, and they are writing about financial literacy, and they found me from my blog. And I'm not, I don't do any special thing on but somehow maybe this search engines are going and finding these words like mom's financial something, and I asked them, how did you find me? How come you come to me, the one person from Toronto about financial literacy, me? And they interviewed me. They wrote about me in their, in an article from that 5 blogs that I put.
Yeah. So regular content takes a bit longer for search engines to pick up. Blogging I blog for one of my clients, the same day I seen it show up on Google. So that shows you the importance that they're putting on blogging.
So I'm not really familiar with the Google Plus, but I do. I guess it's not really my sole account. I have a Google Plus account, but it's in adjacent with another organization, so we all are under her ridership, so to speak. But my question is, that usually you would pay, I don't know if it's Google or whoever, if you want to type in, say, your business name, or if you're branding yourself and you bump to the top, will that be absolute now if you're with Google Plus? Because before there was a fee, was there not?
You're talking about AdWords?
Yeah, you're talking about pay-per-click. So that's totally different from this. Basically, that's just getting your picture. That's just getting, so you'll see like a list of whatever you search for.
Right.
But instead of just seeing it by itself, you're just going to see your picture next to it. So people can see who they're dealing with. So that's what this is.
Right, but for example, if I have a business, just say a catering business, and every time you write in the word gifted, I want my business to be at the top. Would that be the same if I'm in Google? If I have a Google Plus account, I no longer would have to pay for that fee.
No, okay. So you have your Google Plus account.
Right.
You're going to optimize your site.
Right.
Okay, we're going to talk about this further on. You're going to optimize your site to on-site stuff to get your page ranked up there.
Right.
Then there's submitting to search engines. Then there's pay-per-click.
Okay.
So pay-per-click is when you see it right at the top
Right.
and at the side of Google.
Okay.
And that's guaranteed because you're paying for it. And it's a bid system as well. So it's basically how much you're bidding, how much you're willing to spend, your budget, and you get shown. So you might not even get shown on the first page, depending on what your budget is.
Right.
So that's different.
That's called
Pay-per-click
paper.
or AdWords. Okay?
So for this Google Plus you use as an example, is that with the Google Plus personal account or a Google Plus business account?
Personal account.
So
not your page.
Not your page. It doesn't come up with the page.
It doesn't go to your profile.
Okay.
Okay? Right now, they're working on a tool for your page, but it's not going to be as effective as this. Okay? So Google Plus is basically a social, they're Google's answer to Facebook. Okay? So it's a social media tool. Whereas AdSense, pay-per-click, it's advertising. Okay, so blogging. You guys have a sheet. I just want to go over blogging again. So people always ask me, what should I blog about? And the easiest question is, what do you always get questions about? So questions about your business, your products or services, how do you service the client afterwards, that type of thing. So your blog, each blog post should answer. What I recommend is coming up with maybe 100 questions that you get asked and blog about it. One blog per question.
What about the business plan? If we have a business plan, we can just put it down. It's the same thing.
With a business plan, to me, a business plan is private, whereas you're getting investors or you're doing something behind the scenes. I don't know if you want to make that public.
No, we could. Okay.
Okay?
It depends. Because I have my business plan. It's almost what you're saying. So I was just saying ideas. Get the ideas there, put it there.
Right.
That's what I think. Somebody else did it.
So there's this guy named Marcus Sheridan, and he's owner of the Sales Line right now. But before he was owner of Sales Line, he was in the pool business, and that's his concept is to blog about your questions. He built in Intercession. He built up his pool business. It's like the top in the industry where he lives, and it's still flourishing because of his blog posts. If you guys want to check him out, salesline.com, and he also has a free book you can download on blogging.
Salesline.com?
Yeah. Okay. So let's rescue your website. How do you make your website more active? So when I review a website, I usually look at design, validation, browser device compatibility, user experience, content, social media, and search engine optimization. So I have a website that I'm working on. I did it back in December. This is a customized template. That's what she wanted. But I'm working on her social media. I just started that, her search engine optimization, and I'm also doing web maintenance. So every week I'm updating this website. So let's talk about design. So when I'm looking at design, you want to make sure your navigation is easy to read and easy to use.
What do you mean by navigation?
Okay, so that's at the top, like the links at the top.
Oh,
The links at the side.
Okay.
Okay, so your menu. You want to make sure it's easy. With design, this is where you want to make sure your branding comes into play. So you want to make sure that your colors match, your logo's clear. This is where branding is important. Also, you want to have easy to read page titles. So you'll see the corner of the print. That's the page title. You want to make sure you have a consistent look and feel throughout the whole website. So I don't want to I don't know if you guys been to a website where you go to the next page and it's like, am I still on the same website? You want to make sure that people know that they're not leaving your website when they change. And we're talking about color contrast, so striking, not clashing, and that type of thing. Okay? Next is validation. So the top three, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, that's on the back end, and that's really for your designer to worry about. But you have to know that if your designer's not doing it properly, it will break your site. So I don't know if you've gone to a site where it's all white, or you've gone to a site where it says database error or 5.0, like an error. So you have to make sure that your designer is aware that if any of these problems come up, they help you out and fix it, because that's really their responsibility to make sure that those three are in line. Okay? Speed and browser compatibility. So we were talking earlier about taking long to load. So you want to check this regular. Like I said, 3 seconds. So when you're looking at your website, if it's taking longer than 3 seconds, then you have a problem. So you'll lose visitors, and just forget about return visitors. Like she said, she's not going back. You know what I mean? Also, browser compatibility. So your site should show up in other browsers and devices, or so we lose them again. Okay? I'm going to go further about browser and device compatibility. So, as of last month, Chrome was number 1, Firefox came behind, and then Internet Explorer. Internet Explorer is a hard one since previous versions of Internet Explorer, they weren't building it to be compatible. So Microsoft, I don't know, I hope no one's a fan, I'm a basher of Microsoft, but when they had their Internet Explorer, they're like, oh, CSS is not going to work, or this is not going to work, or whatever it is, the case may be. HTML5 is weak, you know, so they didn't build preparing for these like the other browsers. So now they're playing catch up. So you'll see like a lot of times when, as a designer especially, I'll design a site and then I go to Internet Explorer and it's totally out of whack. So I have to make sure I fix it. But I don't recommend fixing it unless you see the majority of your visitors are on Microsoft Explorer. Okay? I wouldn't, unless you see like, basically your site should be working on the recent versions of Microsoft, but like if someone's using a 97 and it's like one visitor, don't bother. Like that one visitor, you know, needs to update.
So you'll be able to tell what browser your visitors are using when
Yeah.
visiting your site?
And where do you tell that from?
Okay, so
Google
some of you guys do
Analytics.
have websites. You
Yeah.
should add Google Analytics to your website.
Yeah,
Okay?
it's free.
Yeah, it's free.
Does Google Analytics, is it focused on only people who visit your site from Google or even
Everybody.
people from Yahoo,
From
everybody?
Facebook,
Everybody.
from
It tells you where they
everything.
visited from. It tells you how long they stayed on your website.
Oh, wow.
It tells you what device, traffic. It tells you the sources. It tells you what pages they're visiting. It tells you everything.
Good.
A lot of people use other analytics, but you can do everything. You can set your own parameters within Google Analytics to tell you, and it generates reports as well.
And so I think that would probably be a bonus to business owners, as like what you said, if there's 1% coming in on a 97, then don't bother. But then suppose, for example, most people are looking at, say, my Facebook page to see my business. Then would you cater then more to that source?
The source?
Well, you know what I mean? Like, maybe I'm not using the right terminology. For example, like if somebody is checking my Facebook through one medium more than the other, then do you cater to that medium more?
With Facebook, you can't really do anything with Facebook.
Right.
But your website now, if, for example, they're coming to you from Facebook, that's fine.
Right.
But if you notice that majority of your visitors are on using Internet Explorer from 97,
Right.
then you want to make sure that it's readable.
It's compatible with that. Okay.
But I honestly, I don't think it's a lot.
Right.
Could
No, but
be.
just as an example.
Yeah.
Right.
Could be, but you know, that's the only way that I do it compatible for previous versions is if I see a lot of traffic from that area. Okay? Device compatibility. So that's your mobile phones, smartphones, tablets, and whatever. So 20% of consumers visit sites via mobile, 11% make purchases using mobile, and 23% of all search comes from mobile devices. According to Microsoft Pay, they're saying that by 2014, mobile usage is going to surpass desktop usage. Okay? And this little chart here is from Google. So 74% who do a search, they're getting directions or operating hours from your website. 64% want to contact the store. That's where the phone number comes in handy. 61% want to find product information, and 50% make a purchase or order a service. So you really want to make sure that it's mobile compatible. Okay, so next is user experience. How many of you visit a website and can't find what you're looking for? Okay, that's user experience. Okay, so you want to make sure that when you're reviewing a website, you're objective. Because the hardest thing is for you to look at your website and see what's missing, what needs to be done, that type of thing. And you also want to get other people's opinions. Okay? And a good web design, and also listen to a web designer. Like I find a lot of times when I'm designing for clients, they want to tell me how they want it to be, but I'm looking out for user experience, and that's what your web designer's main mission is user experience. It's nice if you like it, then will they like it? Okay. The way I put it is, the website is not for me. Okay. The website is not for me, and I have to say it again. Going through the whole development process of websites, it's like your baby. You want it to reflect you. You want it to, bring out your personality, who you are, your business. But at the end of the day, it has to function. So if it doesn't function, then you haven't done your job right. Okay, so let's look at links. When you click on a link, you want it to go somewhere. Okay, so your links should be distinguishable from the rest of the website. Also, dead links, you don't want to click on a link. You don't want to click on something you thought was a link, which isn't a link. And then you don't want to click on a link that is a link that takes you nowhere. Okay? Font size. So that depends on who's coming to your site. So the older your audience is, the bigger your font should be. Okay? Contact information, I think we've covered that, where you want to make sure that you have a page for your contact information. And better yet, I like to put it, can't see here, but I like to put it either at the top of the site, at the bottom, even both, on every page. Okay, so the header and the footer. And with images, so if your images are too big, your site's going to be slow. Also, text on images is not readable by search engines. So a lot of people want a nice fancy header that's an image. Google can't read that. Bing can't read that. None of those can read it. So you want to make sure that if you're doing text and the text is important, it's in the content. Also with images, just like any marketing, it should have a message. You just don't want to stick images to fill up that spot. It should convey something that you're trying to convey. Okay. Well, the next thing I look at is content. Okay, so by visiting your first page, I should know what your site is about. How many of you have gone to a site and you're like, what is this? What business is this? What is this? How many?
Yeah, I usually go to About Us, so I could read like where did the idea start from, to understand what it is that they're selling or offering.
Right. So your first page should tell me what the site is about. I shouldn't have to click to About Us to figure out what's going on there. And the pages should be easy to scan. Every page that should let people know why they should hire you or why they should buy from you. Every page. So somehow in every page you should be letting people know what's going on. You want to use testimonials and benefits to your advantage. And every page should have a call to action. So we talked about your website having an objective. What is your page objective? Every page should have an objective. What do you want your visitors to do? Call, email, fill in the form, download, or purchase, whatever it is. Even your blog pages can have a simple objective as please comment or share on social media. And also, like with content, a lot of people don't realize you are responsible for content. You're responsible for thinking of what, like as a web designer, I can tell you what pages you need, what order they should be in, any questions you have, but you should be responsible for your content. And also, it also reflects on you. Okay? And every page, like I said, every page should be easy to scan. So remember that 3-second rule? So as I'm going on your website, I'm quickly scanning to see what it is. If it doesn't look interesting, I'm gone. Remember, 3 seconds. Okay, social media integration. So I don't know if you guys can see, I do have a highlight here. These are sharing buttons, and then some at the top, and then these are the profile buttons. So you want to make sure that your website has these links. And also a lot of times what I see is people forget to link their social media to their website. So I'll go on someone's Facebook account, I know they have a website, but I can't find what their website is, or vice versa. So you want to make sure you're always linking back and forth. And also with the linking from the social media, it helps with your search engine optimization. The quickest way to engage your readers first is to make sure you have the share buttons, because if they like what you posted, they're going to share it. Search engine optimization. Okay. When you start an SEO campaign, it usually takes 4 to 6 months before you see results. Don't think that you can go in and optimize your page, submit your page, and you're going to see it on Google the next day. A lot of people are like, I can't find my site, I can't find my site. It doesn't happen automatically. Unless you're doing what we talked about, the pay-per-click, you're not going to see it on the front page of Google right away. Okay? There's 2 types of SEO. There's on-site and off-site. So with on-site, you have the meta title, the SEO-friendly URL, the meta description. So I don't know if you guys see clearly. So people always ask me, what is the metadata? So basically, it's behind the scenes. You can't really see it on your website, but this is where you're going to see it. You're going to see the title, and you're going to see the description. And there's also limitations on that as well. Also, you want to have an SEO-friendly URL. So a lot of people they're using WordPress. They forget to go, or they don't know that they're supposed to go in and change the permalinks. So a lot of times you'll see, like, for your About Us page, I'll say, / and I'll have like a whole bunch of numbers, -5, whatever. You don't want that. You want to have actual words, and that means SEO friendly. Okay? You want to make sure that that helps with your search engine optimization. The other thing is to talk about.
What's WordPress?
It's a content management system. So instead of like back when I started doing websites, I used to code everything from scratch. Every page, every line, everything from scratch. With the content management system, what it is, it's like a framework. So I can build your website, and then you can go, you don't need me to go in and update your website. Okay, so the inside of it kind of looks like Word, where you can copy and paste your stuff or type directly in there. That's one of them. There's a whole bunch of them. That's the most popular. Okay, so you have your on-site optimization. You have a sitemap, your robots text. So what a sitemap is, and make sure you guys do this. What a sitemap is it lists all the pages that you want the search engines to index. So you list all the pages, and then you submit it to the search engines. So you can submit to Yahoo, Google, and Bing. And then it gets updated. So you kind of put it on a schedule. So I might say, like, my blog pages, they'll be updated every week. So Google, when it does their search, it's going to do that. It's going to see my sitemap, and it's going to say, okay, I know that this page is going to be updated on a regular basis. I'm going to come back next week and see what's on this page. Okay?
You know, I get confused. You know when you go to some websites and you see below it, you see contact us, it's a service page, so it's not just that URL. They have the sub pages there that you can immediately click on those links and go directly there. What's that called?
Say it again. You see
So you go to a website,
Yes.
you search on Google,
Mhm.
and it listed, so graphics and design.ca, you know. Then below it, you see some sublinks, such as contact us page,
Yeah.
blog page. You see the sub pages that are also listed, so that you don't have to go to the main page immediately. If you just want to go directly to the contact page or the blog page, you can just immediately click on that from the search engine results. What's that called?
I don't know what it's called, but what it is basically the older your site, you'll see it with older sites. So if your site's only a year old, you're not going to get that. But as your site ages, you'll see that Google will do that, and it'll pick the most popular pages to kind of index it for you.
Okay, and immediately present it on the
Yeah.
search results. So it's not anything that people do
No.
specifically.
No, it's usually the age of your site.
Okay.
So if your site's been around for a couple of years, then you'll see it. Or if you, I can't really think of a way to pick up that process. It's usually the age of the site. Yep.
I recently had Rogers, email called Rogers Contract. They're doing website and SEO marketing. What they told me was that they can organically have a website on the first page, first top few spaces within 3 to 4 months. Is that possible at all?
I say beware of anyone that guarantees, because with Google, what they do is every couple months, I don't know if you guys seen like Panda, all kinds of stuff. Google, every couple months, they changed their algorithm.
Right.
So unless you work at Google, you don't know what it's going to be. Like, for example, last year, end of last year, they did a big change. So a lot of those people that were first page, they're gone. Like, I've read blog posts where they're like, my business, I don't have a business anymore because Google. So if they say guarantee, I'm leery of that. But within 4 to 6 months, you should see results. You should see, if you're not on the first page or not on the second page, you should see yourself moving up somewhere.
So how do you figure out what Google is looking for? So not that that specifically happened to me, but I spent a lot of time last year getting my page up, and I was on the first page searches, and now I'm not. And so I want to know what it's looking for that maybe I haven't done in the last couple of months that I let slip. I don't know. Like,
Okay.
are there blogs that you can follow that will tell you what to?
Google's not telling you what to do.
Okay.
There's a guy named Matt Cutts. He works with Google, and he blogs a lot about what you could do to help it. So he's a good person to follow. But Google, they're not telling you. They're telling you like content is king. The same things they were telling you before. But a lot of times, like when people were doing search engine optimization before, they were doing articles, which they stopped doing, like article banks, where you send in a whole bunch of articles to different banks and it'll link to your site. So Google said, oh, they were like level 10, now these banks are like level 2. So that brings down your ranking. One of the things that you want to do is guest posts. That helps a lot because you're linking to your site. Commenting on other blogs, commenting in forums, those type of things help. And like I said, blogging. So maybe if you blog once a week, you might want to step it up this week. And also when you're blogging, or you want to use your keywords in your blog. I don't think I go through that here, but you want to use your keywords. So like I should recommend like maybe 5 main keywords, and that's what you want to keep blogging about. And that will help as well. Okay? Robot text is it's a file that you have, and it basically tells the search engines what not to index. So like, for example, you might have an admin page that you don't want to be listed in Google search. So you would use the robot text file to tell it not to do that. So you want to make sure that that's up to date, and that includes files that you do not want to be indexed. External links. Google also likes it when you link to other people. They also like it when you link internal links. So if I do a blog post on social media, I'm linking any reference that I do now, I'm going to link to that blog post, my blog post. And also I'm going to try to link to people outside of my blog. Okay? And backlinks. So that's offsite. So offsite is what we're talking about with the Google AdSense. It's also submitting your sites to search engines, directories, and also, like I said, with the commenting, those are creating backlinks. So before, backlinks is number 1 with Google. Now they've changed it. Content is number 1. Okay? How do people know you're online? I know it sounds weird, but a lot of people do not have their website listed on their business cards. And also, I always say, make sure it's in your signature, and also include your social media in your signature. Okay? Okay, so take action now. What we've gone through will help you improve your website immediately. Okay? Any questions?
Can you go back to the other slide?
Which one?
No, the one, yeah, that one. Just the other side.
It's a good idea when you think about the social media.
Okay? And a lot of people don't want to redo their business cards. Redo your business cards. Because I don't know, I'm always online, and I know the younger generation is always online. If someone gives me their business card, the first thing I'm doing is going to visit their website, and I'm Googling them or whatever. So you want to make sure you have that presence, and you want to make sure they're not looking for you. Make it easy for them. Anyone have any questions?
There was this thing I heard, and perhaps you can elaborate on it a little bit more. When you go to a website, when you do a blog, there's usually a strategy whereby you start off with, first of all, you Google Plus it, so overnight, so it settles into the web, you Google Plus it. Then after 1 day of Google Plussing, you now post it on social media sites. Then once you post it on social media sites, you now have the next strategy where you send it out as your newsletter. So there's a certain order to it, which helps build especially presence on Google. Are you familiar with it?
Okay, so when I started last year, I had this strategy. So I would blog. First day I'd blog, I would let it sit so that way it's my website. The next day I would put on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Google, and LinkedIn. Then the next day I would maybe tweet it again and continue from there. I don't think that makes a difference.
I think it's more with having Google Plus be the first one that has it, because from what I hear is when you break it down to certain different social medias and people visiting your sites, it creates a daily, I'm not too sure about this, but it creates like a daily traffic, which when people are going to the site, so it just raises it up in the search engines when they search for it. So the suggestion was start with Google Plus, for instance.
Yeah.
As in circle it, so it's on Google, it's optimized on Google, then you go into, I know like when you write a blog, you go submit it or refresh on Google Analytics or the back end or for your search engine optimization. Then after a day, you now go to the different social media sites so that at least they see traffic coming onto the site and it ranks it higher.
Yeah, I don't notice a difference because I was doing it last year that way, and now I'm doing it. When I post, I just send it out everywhere. I don't really see a difference.
Okay.
So I don't know if they see a difference, but I haven't seen a difference. One of the things that I do like to let it sit for a day because I want to make sure, I want to go back and read it again. You know what I mean? I want to make sure that I look through it all, make sure there's no grammar, spelling mistakes, let it settle, and let it Google pick it up. Usually it does take, with blogging, I've noticed, like I said, this client that I just showed you, I posted in the morning and I've seen it there in the afternoon on Google. Like I've done a search. So I think it's because I blog regularly on her site, but I think the more you blog, the more faster you'll be indexed. I don't really think, I haven't seen a difference, to tell you the truth.
When you say send it out, you don't, I feel like such a dunce.
I said it to
I
her.
don't
like,
know what you mean.
Okay.
You blog, you put it out there, send it out.
Where? Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
first space, like what, I don't.
So I will blog, I will post a blog, right? Say Monday and post a blog, okay? What I used to do was I would wait until Tuesday, and then I'd post it on Facebook,
Okay.
okay? On Wednesday, I'd post it on Twitter.
Post a link to your blog on
Yeah,
Facebook.
to that blog, to that post.
Okay.
Twitter, then the next day I do Twitter. Then the next day I do Google+. Then I do LinkedIn. Then I do, with the thing you're talking about to Google, Google does that automatically. And you also have, it's called pinging. So what happens is every time you do a new post, you should set up your blog that it pings out. So it sends out a message to all these other directories. Okay? Pinging, ping.
No, I understand. I just
Okay.
have a question about.
Okay, go ahead.
First of all, before I forget, what's Tumblr? Is it similar? Is that what it's called? TU?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tumblr.
Yeah.
What is that? Is it similar to a Pinterest?
No.
I'm just asking because I mean, at the end of the day, I have to be just honest. I talk to my girlfriend about it all the time. Isn't it sometimes information over, like, for example, I'll see one person and everywhere, like it's just every minute you're getting updates.
Yeah, I don't like that. It's
Yeah.
annoying. I take off my notifications.
And I don't know because I'm not a social media guru. I don't know if that's what I want to be, but I do want people to know my lane. Am I like, is that the norm? Is that the day of the century? Is that what we're? Because to me, honestly, it's now a turn off. I'm being honest. Like, what has happened is like you've desensitized me to your link that nothing catches my eye really because I'm just sick of seeing nothing,
Is this on
like something
Facebook?
of nothing.
This is on Facebook.
Facebook, like they'll link it like to everything. So I'll see it on Facebook, email. I'll get an email to tell me to read it on Facebook, which I already seen it on Facebook, right? Then they have maybe their own TV or their own newsletter, and then I'll see it on Twitter, and then they put it on Instagram. So I honestly just feel like I'm being inundated with this. And sometimes what they do is like what you said in Google Plus. I know that you can set it so that it will, whatever, like, update your pages. And what happens is I'm like, wasn't this written last year? Like, didn't I read this? Like, no, honestly, I'm just being honest,
Yeah.
right? So I want to honestly know, is that a good thing or is it a bad thing? Is it me saying because I'm not familiar with what the norm is? Because to me, I'm a little bit turned off, to tell you the truth.
Okay, so part of the reason why I was doing it on different days was because I didn't want people to see the same information twice in the same day. But now what I do is I schedule it. So I would have, if it comes out Twitter in the morning, it's going to come out on Facebook in the afternoon. And I don't do the same thing on Facebook. So Facebook only gets it once, and then maybe a month from now, and maybe a month from now. Whereas, because Facebook, it's there. If I go to your Facebook page, I could read your whole page. So why am I reading 10 posts about one thing?
That's right.
Right? Whereas Twitter is like, it totally caters to the people with low attention spans, because if you're not looking at Twitter, you're going to miss the news. So Twitter, first day, maybe 3 times. And then maybe every day after that. It's up to you to work out your schedule and to see, like, one of the things that I also do is I look at and see what time of day works best. So you want to do that as well. So like, if I post at 6 o'clock in the evening, how many people are seeing it as opposed to 12 o'clock in the afternoon?
How do you know that?
How do I
you
know?
how many people are seeing it if you post something about it?
I use a tool called Hootsuite.
What language is that?
HOOTSUITE.
Okay.
And that helps me schedule my stuff out, and it also gives me analytics on that as well.
Okay.
So tell me how many people read it. I think it tells you the reach, how many shares, that type of stuff. So I use that as well to let me know what's going on.
Can I
Is
add
that
something
free?
to that?
Sorry, is that free or are you paying for that?
They have a free option.
Okay.
You can't schedule.
It's five accounts for Hootsuite. Yes,
Five?
5 media accounts. Yeah.
5, and you can't schedule. Like you can.
You can schedule.
You can schedule, but you can't do, like what I do is I'll make a spreadsheet with posts that I want to post. You can't do that with the free account.
Okay.
But you can go in there and one by one type it in and schedule it that way with the free account.
Can I just add something to your question? What some people do, so I understand what you mean overloads. One of the things you have to understand is that not everybody does Twitter, Facebook. Some people are either on Twitter or Facebook. And to what she said at the beginning, just like you have a website objective, you have to have a social media objective. What are you trying to achieve? So not everything will be relevant to you. So somebody like Fran, who she's into cupcakes, she's into images, and images appeal to people. So for her, it's going to be important she has Instagram, because people are sharing pictures and sharing images. So that's very important to her. So for your strategy, you have to figure where's my audience? What type of business do I have? And another thing that people do as well for their different social media is post different things. So you will see that some people in their newsletter, what they post is different from what they post on Facebook. And what they post on Facebook is different from what they post on Twitter. So for instance, in my strategy, in Facebook, I might post an image because people love images on Facebook. They just love to share it. And I might post some text. Then on Twitter, I only have 160 words. So it might be a similar message, but I rephrase it differently. Then my blogs, the blogs I share on my social sites are different from when I'm sending a newsletter to people. So my newsletter, I might just say to people, hey, hello, this is what happened to me this week. Can you imagine this? I have a discussion with them. Right. So that if people are receiving all of this, peradventure there's somebody who's in Twitter, Facebook, and all of them, they're getting different messages and they're seeing value in it.
Right.
Meanwhile, I have another business, so not business, but another non-profit thing where I post the same thing because it's non-business. I don't have the time to sit and start developing a strategy and different things. So depending on what your social media objective is, you might need Tumblr, you might need Instagram, you might need Facebook.
And that's what I'm asking. I don't want to nitpick or knock anybody, because you're right in terms of depending on what business and what your objective is.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want to know is like, and I think that's what I say to myself. What one person is doing is not necessarily my niche, right?
Yeah.
But I just wanted to ask. the
And
question.
no, and it's about
Yeah.
now what you also need to do, even if you don't want to use that social media strategy at the moment because you don't see value in it. Sorry, fine, when I said Instagram, I meant Pinterest. Pinterest, that's
Same
what
thing
it
with
was.
Instagram.
Yeah, same thing with that, but I really meant Pinterest, but same thing. But what you want to do is reserve the name. So even if you're not using it now because you want branding consistency, just reserve the name and keep it. So you might not use it now because you don't see any value, but because like you said, they're constantly changing strategies, changing the way they do things, and suddenly you need it, but your name is no longer available. So you can reserve the name now and say, okay, let me just have it. I might not use it immediately,